American Heritage. My name is Hallie, and today is May 12th, 2017. Let's take a look at today's weather. Today's weather is going to be 91 degrees and mostly sunny. Today we welcome our special guest, Mrs. Garchek. Today we have a gift for Autism Speaks. We could not have done it without all of your help. So thank you, AHS. But before we tell you more what's happening here at AHS, we'd like you to please stand for the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good morning, American Heritage. I'm Angelina Mazza.
And I'm Kyle.
With your club and school news. So let's jump right in. Here's some info on autism. Autism Speaks is a foundation dedicated to promoting solutions across the spectrum and throughout the lifespan for the needs of individuals with autism and their families through advocacy and support.
The support, they are increasing support, understanding, and acceptance of the autism spectrum disorder, and they provide means for advancing research into causes and better interventions for the autism spectrum disorder and related conditions.
Well, Autism Speaks enhances lives today and is accelerating a spectrum of solutions for tomorrow.
So, Angelina, did you know that 1 in 68 children are currently diagnosed with the autism spectrum disorder? The prevalence of ASD has increased over 100% in the last 10 years.
Well, early intervention can make a lifetime difference, and with right supports, all individuals with ASD can thrive.
Take a look at this video and see how you have made a difference by purchasing a blue bracelet.
Hi, I'm Michael McCreary. I'm a stand-up comedian, and I'm also on the autism spectrum.
Autism spectrum disorder is a lifelong neurological disorder. ASD crosses all cultural, ethnic, geographic, and socioeconomic boundaries.
It's a spectrum disorder, which means that each person with ASD will experience varying degrees of difficulty with communication, social skills, and behaviors. We also have many unique abilities. Really, the greatest disability someone on the spectrum experiences is discrimination. Approximately 1% of the Canadian population are diagnosed with ASD. Children with autism grow up to become adults with autism.
Some will need care for the rest of their lives. Some will be able to live independently with some support, and some will have careers and families.
So if someone ever tells you, you don't have autism, because I've seen Rain Man and you're nothing like him, just tell them you've met one person with autism, you've met one person with autism. For the purposes of this video, I will be referring to people not on the spectrum as neurotypical as opposed to normal. Because, after all, what is normal?
Approximately 25% of all people on the spectrum are nonverbal, like my brother Matthew, but may communicate using various other means.
It's important to remember that just because someone isn't able to speak does not mean they don't have something to say. Hey, what do you want, buddy? You want the tractor ride? Yeah. Okay. For the remaining 75%, communication can still be a struggle. Although many may come across as highly fluent, they might still need ample time to process what has been said before they respond.
Michael? What are you doing here? How have you been? How are you? Michael? What are you doing here?
I'm making a video. Many of us struggle with expressive language, which is trying to put words into sentences. Receptive language, which is trying to figure out what you were saying. And body language, which is where thoughts, intentions, or feelings are expressed by physical behaviors. Eye contact is a nonverbal form of communication that can be very difficult to maintain for many people on the spectrum.
Really good actually for September weather. Yeah. Hey Michael, are you listening?
Yeah, man. However, some people can concentrate without needing to look at you. In fact, not looking at you might be the thing that's allowing them to focus on what they hear. Judging the right distance to stand from others is another form of nonverbal communication, something we learn instinctively during childhood. But for some people with autism, this may not be automatic. Ironically, many people on the autism spectrum are unusually intolerant of people entering their personal space, or just hate being touched altogether.
Michael? Dude, it's been so long. How are ya?
Taking language literally is the default mode for many people with ASD.
So, you have a show tonight. Are you getting cold feet?
No, I'm wearing shoes. That is why many of us don't get sarcasm relating to non-linear uses of language, like jokes or irony.
So, you have a show tonight. Are you nervous?
No, I'm not. I'm wearing my lucky shoes.
Cool.
Social skills can be a challenge for people on the spectrum and can cause difficulty finding and maintaining friendships. It often appears that we are unaware of things going on around us because we don't exhibit a neurotypical response.
So the bartender says, why the long face?
Did I tell you guys that my cat died last week?
'Cause he's a horse. He has a long face. This can come across as uncaring or rude. The truth is, we can be very aware of our own difficulties and extremely sensitive to others' negative reactions. Some people believe we don't feel empathy. The term empathy is misleading. We do feel and appreciate emotions. We just might be unsure of what emotion others are feeling and have difficulty expressing it in the conventional way. So if it seems like we're clueless to what's going on, we're actually just reacting to the situation in a way that is unfamiliar to you. But, alright, I guess we can be pretty clueless too. Sorry about your cat. Many people on the spectrum will focus intensely on a very narrow handful of subjects that interest them, to the point of being unable to break away from them. Lots of us tend to info dump on others. This means that we find any reason to steer a conversation towards our interest, and can't see that the other person is bored. On reflection, we often realize that we went on for too long, but by then it's too late. Honesty is without a doubt a virtue, but absolute honesty, in social terms, can lead to trouble.
Hey, do you like my new shirt?
There's often not a lot of forethought when autistic people speak. For neurotypicals, the neurological system works to filter out excessive stimulation. Due to a difference in the brain's wiring, people on the spectrum experience more feelings of discomfort, anxiety, and confusion than neurotypicals. We have trouble with communicating, with chaotic environments, with people talking or moving too quickly, unexpected changes, and excessive worries about things that aren't certain. We also have sensory processing differences, which basically means that many people on the spectrum are either over or under sensitive to something, whether it be light, smell, sound, temperature, or an unfortunate combination, and therefore less able to manage. We like routines. They help us get through things, and sticking to them helps us cope with everything else. Repetitive behaviors are a trait of autism. We call these coping strategies self-stimulation, or stimming. Self-stimulatory behavior is the repetition of physical movements, sounds, or repetitive movement of objects. These traits don't make the person with autism uncomfortable. On the contrary, they can often be quite calming. Social isolation, hypersensitivity to stimuli, and a constant need for routine can cause huge levels of anxiety for someone on the spectrum. With the right supports and strategies, many of these behaviors can be greatly reduced. Here's how you can help. Ask one thing at a time.
Michael? What are you doing here?
I'm making a video. And remember that we take things literally.
Oh, hey, Mike?
Yeah?
You got a chip on your shoulder.
A what?
Right there.
Oh! Thank you very much. Don't demand or force eye contact. Avoiding eye contact is communication. Said person is telling you that, for whatever reason, they find it difficult or unpleasant. So if you want to help, the best place to start is by acknowledging and respecting the message that is being shared with you. Recognize our need for routine. Take your cues from the individual. Remember, you're better at it than us.
Hey! How's it going?
It's going pretty good.
It's easy to think about ASD as a diagnosis. However, we're not talking about a diagnosis here. We're talking about a person with ASD.
Ultimately, we can and should learn not only to tolerate the differences of autistic brains, but to embrace them, rather than trying to make the person with autism fit into the neurotypical world. We need to expand the concept of acceptable behavior to include people with autism as part of the range of human diversity. We're different, not less.
Autism Ontario's vision is to create acceptance and opportunities for all individuals with autism spectrum disorder. And our mission is to ensure that each individual with ASD is provided the means to achieve quality of life as a respected member of society.
Autism. See the potential.
It's easy to think about a diagnosis, but we're not. It's easy to talk about ASD as a diagnosis. It's easy to think about a diagnosis, but we're not talking about a diagnosis. We're talking about a person with ASD.
Well, we hope that we've changed your views about students and adults with autism.
As for sports, we have an update for you. The varsity baseball team won their game on Wednesday and will head to regional finals. Good job to all the players and coaches.
Well, as for today's elective schedule, today is in... Thank you, AHS, for joining in and being a part of making a change in understanding autism. We also have a special gift for our guest, Miss Garchik, after our conclusion of the announcements.
Thank you for tuning in to Your School, Your News at Stallion Today. My name is Kyle.
And my name's Angelina, and we will see you on Monday.